What is up, homies? Welcome back to another episode of the Heroes Reforged Podcast. A very special episode this week. But before we get into anything, we did the Reforgies last week, which was so much fun. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I say something? We had a really fun time.
Everybody here
with that.
can get it.
Oh, it was so good. It was so fun. Make sure you guys check out that episode. We had a really fun time. Next year, we'll put out the voting again for you guys to help us decide the winners.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. We're also watching, obviously, a ton of stuff. Daredevil Born Again is one of the things we're watching every week. We just finished Invincible, which like that finale has a ton of views.
Yeah.
100,000 almost.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Cool.
That's crazy. But this week we have an amazing guest.
Yeah.
And we're all going to try so hard to not ask any questions that will get him in trouble. Omar Najam is here. He's a writer. He's a creator. You're working on a very, very special show.
That's true.
That's true.
This one right now. What's up?
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank y'all for having me.
We're very, very excited that you're here. We're all buds and we haven't seen each other really in a long
So
time.
long.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit before we get into it.
Sure.
Omar,
Yeah.
I met you a long time ago at Geek and Sundry.
That's right.
Yeah. I think you were doing something on stage.
Probably.
I don't remember the first time we actually met, but it was just like, I was there so much. I was like, this Omar's there. And then like through everything, we just kind of like merge the whole superhero news Geek and Sundry team kind of
Yeah.
thing. So yeah. I think that's the first time. Do you have?
That's
do you
like
have a different
10
story?
years ago now.
Yeah.
I honestly,
Stop, Adam, stop.
I don't remember the moment that I met you.
Yeah.
But anytime I think of like Geek and Sundry, hyper
Right,
stuff,
right.
you're always one of the people that I'm like, oh yeah, Omar's
pops
one of
out.
the people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's
And-
crazy. Wow.
and
We're the
now-
only other brown guys too.
True.
That's what we
Not a
were
lot
like.
of
Brown people going
It was
on
like
there.
Felicia Day and us. We really gotta stick
yeah.
together with this crew over here, this legendary digital networks. We gotta stick together. But Omar's been killing. Sad. But Omar's been killing the game.
Oh my God, amazing.
He's been doing a bunch of stuff. On top of that, too, I do want to ask him. We do have one question in there about him doing the same as the sort of old Geek and Sundry days, your tabletop role playing game stuff. I mean, you've been on Critical Role, you've done stuff on Dropout, so we'll talk about that. But he's also an accomplished writer, and he has worked on Ms. Marvel, the MCU television program, as well as, and this is what we cannot talk about at all, and we're not going to get him in trouble, Daredevil Born Again. Yeah. So what we can talk to you about is we can briefly talk about Ms. Marvel.
Yes.
And I just wanted to ask, because we go back, because we know that you are a geek, you know, you're a Marvel fan as well. What is it like for you to work on something like Ms. Marvel?
Oh my God. I mean, it's okay. Everyone says it's a dream come true thing, which is like obviously true because you get to continue the wonderful dream of hanging out with your buds and talking about comic books.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But your buds in this case are other writers that are putting together a show.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like, but I think what's so interesting about it is, so I'm not going to give the like dream come true answer. Like, I think the thing that's really interesting is that you have the stuff you love and you go into a room to chat with other folks about the thing you love and finding out the other angles that people have and the things that they love. And it's because it's, Scott McCloud's like Understanding Comics. The whole thing there is the smiley face is like the universal symbol of happiness. And then so it's kind of like being like, we all understand a smiley face. Great. And then you put into a bunch of words a smiley face and someone's like, oh, that's interesting. And you're like, no, that's what we all, obviously that's like a smiley face. And like, well, here's my words. And you're like, okay. And you sent to like costuming and they're like, interesting. Okay, here's our interpretation of that. And here's what I think a smiley face is. And then so it gets to become a like group mind moving thing of like 100 unbelievably talented artists. And then like me in the corner being like, can she like throw like punch a thing? Can she like float on a thing? Would that be all right?
What about like a light construct? Can you throw it in there?
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, but I think one of the most fun moments of that entire experience for me was I was talking at my old school UCSB, and I found out that on the same day, Marcus and McFeely were there, and then someone's like, "Do you want to meet them?" And I was like, shaking. I'm like, it's Marcus and McFeely. Like, of course, that would be unbelievable. And I go up, I'm like, hey, how's it going? I just want to introduce myself. And like, also like I'm working on like Ms. Marvel right now. And they're like, oh, great, come with us. And they take me to like the
Here's all the secrets.
Just like that?
Well, they were like, come step away. And they're like, come step away, come over here. And I was like, okay, great. And I'm like, okay. And then they like turned to me, they're like, so like, does her like fists get big? Like, what's the deal with it?
Interesting.
And I was like,
because they didn't know.
I don't know what I can say.
Yeah.
You're Marcus and McFeely, but I still don't know.
And they were like, no, we're under the same NDA. And I was like, I'm sorry, guys.
Scared.
And I'm like crying as I'm just walking backwards. I'm like, I can't be
and
here.
then they go like,
I can smell the sniper. Yeah, it's Kevin Feige.
You passed the test. That's so funny.
That's crazy. Well,
That's
I would
great.
even like to take a step back from that.
Yeah.
Because we've known you for like 10-ish years now. Was writing always a passion of yours, or?
Yeah,
Because again, we knew you as like a tabletop role player, board game, live stream, Twitch,
personality host,
this sort of thing that we were doing. You know,
and then one time a really bad Beatles singer. And I really appreciate we were doing a charity stream.
I remember
know
that,
this wasn't the question, but we had a very off performance. Mia, Stephen Ray Morris, and I had a really off performance. And then you were so sweet in the like post show, like let's talk and continue to raise money. We're like, and you guys like don't like it's amazing because you guys aren't like known to be musicians. So this, I was like, that's a professional.
That's right.
That was great framing.
Yeah. And it was after that you're like, I gotta be a writer. I gotta get out of this.
Like, I guess
Who's
there
a
goes
writer?
that.
I'm not a musician. I'm a writer.
My music career.
I threw out my French horn that day. It was huge.
Your ukulele just out the window.
Out the window. And someone caught it. And that person is Jason Mraz. No, I always was interested in writing and then did it more because I grew up in San Jose. I went to an inner city school. And then at one point our theater teacher was like, we don't have money to get a play.
Dang.
Whoa.
And then we were like, okay, cool. All right.
We'll
and then
write
so like,
one.
let's just write one.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then
No
we
big
did
deal.
that. And then we're like,
Because
this is fun.
people don't know high schools have to like license the plays that they put on.
Yeah. We spent
Whoa.
a bunch of money on Grease one year. And then our principal was like, you have to do, I'll shout this out. I don't care. I'm not under any high school NDA. They were like, let's do Grease. And the principal was like, we have to do Grease. I love Grease. It's the best.
Yeah.
And then we bought the book to Grease and we're like, are you sure you want us to perform this? And then she was like, yes, absolutely. And then we did a dress rehearsal. And then when I got to Grease Lightning and it's the original lyrics, they were like, you can't say that. And I was like, you're the one. Like we wanted to do West Side or something, but you're the one who
Put up
insisted.
a fight. You go, hey,
They
no.
don't do any of this. So So then we started to write our own stuff. And then it was back in like the late 90s, 2000s when like you had a video camera, you go make movies with your friends and stuff. So then I went to school for marine biology and film theory.
Interesting.
Marine biology and film theory.
Yeah.
It's safety net, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Everyone made fun of me because they're like, what are you going to do? Make documentaries about whales?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why is that a
Why is that a bad thing?
Free Willy is the best movie ever made.
come
What
on.
do you mean?
That's like
It's right there.
that's like literally the same path as like the late great Steven Hillenburg who created SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right,
Like it's
exactly,
such a similar
right?
path.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I was so, but everyone made fun of it enough. I was like, yeah, I guess that's silly. So then I stopped.
Oh.
No, actually, that's not true. I did get bullied about it, but I didn't like, hey, we're nerds,
You didn't
man.
take it
Like,
to heart.
I
Okay,
didn't take
yeah.
it to heart. I was
Okay.
like, absolutely not. But then they were like, you have to wake up at 8 a.m. to come to Chem 1B.
True.
And I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm dropping my science degree.
There goes the bio major.
No, I'm sleeping in and watching Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Okay.
But then it's also, but like, come on, this is all communal, right? Like we
Yeah.
all like I feel like the reason that like we all get to do cool stuff is because we all chat about this.
Yeah.
It's this.
Yeah.
Like I think it's all this stuff and just like us sitting around and being like, I don't know, like it's that passion and that like encouragement that keeps everyone going. I feel so lucky knowing you three. I'm gonna get soft for a second.
Oh.
I feel so lucky because like we like folks watch this show and it's like the best. You get this. I get like a little added bonus because I know y'all. Where like some of my favorite memories are just we're crossing paths. You're going to the studio to go record something. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
A Star Wars movie's just come out. You all have just seen it. You're about to do a review, and I get to be like, "How is it?" You three are the best living human beings to give a review without spoiling it. Because you'll be like,
We are pretty
you'll
good at
ask
that,
questions. I think it was you.
Yeah.
I think you were just like, did you like this and this about previous Star Wars movies? And I was like, yeah. And you're like, you're gonna enjoy 70% of this one.
That's pretty good.
Sounds like something I would say for sure.
And I was like,
for sure.
hell yeah. And I went,
that
yeah.
can
You know
apply
why
to
I asked
Force
those
Awakens.
questions
That could
is
apply
because
to
in my head I'm like, how am I going to prepare this for online without like spoiling it for somebody?
Exactly.
So I've been already thinking about it since I left the theater.
And you always talk about how you don't want to overhype anything for anyone and disappoint somebody.
Never, 1,000%.
That could have applied to Last Jedi. That could have applied to Solo. That could have applied to anything. That's so funny.
And it's like, I think I was standing off, like I won't say necessarily like where this all happened, but like I think I was standing like off stage, like I was getting like a water or something.
Just hanging out.
It was a trailer for, I want to say it was Spider-Man Far From Home. You were watching it fresh. This is like a Hector moment. This is a typical Hector moment. Like it's weird how often this happens in like outside the camera life. And it was I think it was a license plate on a speedboat. You remember this?
Keep going. Sure,
it was like, the license plate was like something, and you're like, pause it. We're watching the trailer for the first time, pause it. And then like I watched you three pause it.
Yeah.
And then Hector, you're like, AS something. Yep. Look up that issue.
Oh,
you caught the Spider-Man reference in the license plate. I remember that.
I actually just rewatched that trailer reaction like a week ago.
Yeah.
And you do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's the debut of like Molten Man or something.
Yeah.
Something like
and you're
that.
like, okay, cool. So that's going to be there. Got it. And I was just like, man.
Figured out the whole movie.
God, these guys are losers.
You know what's funny? I still think about how that movie was a great litmus test for like not trying to be a gatekeeper, not trying to ruin anybody's day, but there is an element of people who watch like superhero movies and superhero media, but they don't read comic books and they're not interested in it.
And they don't even want to.
And they don't want to. And that kind of frustrates me because I'm like, comics are great. What are you doing? But when that movie came out, the press was like, in the film, Spider-Man teams up with Mysterio to take on the 4 elementals. And because the elementals were like very obscure characters from some Marvel Spider-Man thing, people were like, oh, they're fighting the elementals. And I was like, guys. I was
you know anything about Mysterio?
I'm like, this is Mysterio. That's a lie. He's not a good guy. And they're like, no, dude, they're changing it for the movie. I was like, no, dude, you were wrong. You don't read comics. Don't try to tell me the lie that they told you about the elementals. Like, it's false.
It's like the same thing right now we're getting with Invincible. When you were in the last episode, you were like, people were making comments like, oh, that's what you think is going to happen? You're like, I'm not making this shit up. It's in the sacred text.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Lex Luthor, the best present ever. Cool. That's great. Good. I would like to hear his policies.
Yeah. Oh boy. So, okay, great. So then you were, you've had a writing career now for a while, and then you got the opportunity to be able to contribute to Ms. Marvel, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It was a good time, man. It's just like, it's getting to, I mean, that character is so important.
Sure.
It's a brown Muslim young femme out there in the world. And what I am so happy about that show is that it never got sort of caught in like the tropiness of like some minority characters.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, you're right.
And you get to touch on things, but it's like that organic, I don't know, like so many people are Buffy fans, and it felt to me like that show knocked out of the park with being like, how does Kamala Khan approach this? Not like, how should a character that represents the entire culture?
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
And she's a little weirdo. Like
the thing that I love that you guys did, being a brown man myself, my family is so much of my personality, and that family came in, and I love them just as much as Kamala. Like it was just every interaction. I was like, that is it. That is how that was my lived experience. Like everything that I did from ages like 0 to maybe about like 21, 24, influenced by my family 1,000%.
Yes.
Like that was just it. And then to see that reflected on screen, I was like, that this show gets me. This show understands me 1,000%.
Yeah. The three of us are children of immigrants, where Augustine and I, we have family from Mexico, and Adam has family that are Czech. And so even with that being different than Kamala's background, there's still some universal immigrant stuff in that movie, in that show that's just like, this applies to any children of immigrants.
100%.
Basically, we're all weirdos like Kamala.
Exactly.
That's why we're here.
Exactly.
All right. Well, wait. One really cool thing too, though, is when we made those reactions, Bisha K. Ali messaged us.
Yeah. That's right.
And she follows all of us now. And she would like message us in between episodes. She's like, I loved your reactions, guys. I'm like, oh, that's Bisha, dog.
Yeah.
That's Bisha herself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like it's interesting as like someone who like just consumes so much nerd content. Like I don't want anyone to feel like self-conscious of like eyes on you,
but they're watching it all.
They're saying, I was actually going to ask about that.
I will not say that on camera. No. What I will say is y'all have so many fans.
They
and
watch
like
the best. That's what they watch.
The excitement of like your all like trailer reactions and breakdowns and stuff is something that is so infectious in the entire ecosystem. So I really quickly want to give you all.
Stop it.
Everyone works here.
Whoa.
And
See, my ears are all red hot now.
Well, it was crazy because I went to a re-release screening of Avatar. So this was like 2 years ago now on the lot.
The first Avatar?
The first one.
Got it.
When they did like the 4K 48 frame per second
Right.
remaster. I went on the lot and I didn't know there's 2 theaters and it was one of the theaters that I had never been to before. So I asked someone at random and he was like, oh, you go down this way and go that way and then make a right. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm walking. He goes, are you on YouTube? And I was like, oh no.
God.
Yes. Do you do trailer reactions and like episode reactions? Yes, I do. Oh, everyone in the office watches your guys' stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, there's so much pressure.
James, and that was James Cameron that said that.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That was James Cameron himself.
But yeah, like it's weird because even though, we're in LA or we're around all this stuff all the time, sometimes like we don't even think about the fact that like when we get messaged by someone, we're like, why is the creator of why? But that's the instant feedback.
Yeah.
Those are your reviews. That's how you know what's working, what's not working. And I know if I was working on shows like that, I'd be like, well, you got to just wait. That thing that you're asking for, it'll get there. And then waiting to see like, oh, are they satisfied by, what's happened or whatever.
In one of these stories, if you take a big swing, you sit on it for maybe a year or two.
Yeah, absolutely.
Longer if it's a movie. And you're just like, you're just so, I can imagine, so nervous about how people are going to respond to it. So that, when people are recording themselves and putting it on YouTube, you're like searching it. You're like, oh God, I hope that this thing that I was working on like 2 years ago, this big choice we made, works emotionally or whatever. So it's got to be nerve wracking.
I don't know if I will shout him out specifically because I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to.
We
don't have to.
A buddy of mine was working over there and I had a writer's assistant on a couple other shows, just in general. And then my buddy was like, hey, are you available right now? Like we're staffing up for this thing. Yeah. And then so hopped in, like did the interview process. And it is that, but it's like so much of it is like what draws you to these stories, like what, do you like about this? And I think that portion of that process is so important because it's great to just get people who want to celebrate stories in their heart. And there are a lot of people who, obviously are just like, this is a big, cool thing that folks want to work on. And I'm really impressed. All the experiences that I've had are so positive in terms of them assembling like genuinely a great team every single time.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it's so strange when like you're, I don't know, just like hanging out and just chatting about it. And then you're like, cool, we spent 3 hours being like, what's cool? This is like going to happen. Like, for me, I'm still like, because I'm always like, any car ride I have, I'm just like, so what's like a zany like space story that we can come up with just or whatever. You're talking about like, I had this funny idea. And then you're like, okay, but we have to decide on one thing and put it down on paper and then like, and throw that out there. So
yeah, we have half of that experience. The first half, which is like, it'd be cool if they did this in some movies. And then we go, well, that's
Hector,
it. See you later.
The amount of times you've called it to be true though, but it's happened.
It's just because
more than comic books.
Yeah. That's it. It's just because whatever's in that DNA that I clock and go, this would be an amazing like live action or animated story, like adapted or told or whatever. Or again, going back to like when Thanos first showed up at the end of Avengers, we were working on the Avengers movie when that happened. Yeah. And we knew like somebody had, we all have different stories of how we found out, but like basically like the supervisors were like, hey, come here. And they would show us the shot of Thanos, which was a total surprise that nobody knew was going to be in there. Even Marvel Comics was like caught unaware because they didn't have enough Thanos comics like reprinted when that.
Because everyone watched that was like, who is that?
Who is that? I want to know more about that character. Yeah. But when that happened, I remember my instant thought was like, oh my God, they're going to do Infinity Gauntlet. They're going to do half of the universe wipes out. Because if you just know that character, even know the sort of summary of that, that's the pinnacle. Yeah. That's why that character exists or what he's sort of turned into. You know what I mean? So like, it's the same with like, if you do anything with Bane, it's like, he's going to have to break a back at some point. Otherwise there's
somebody's back.
Yeah, someone's spine is getting broken.
Otherwise there's no point. Like, that's why you introduce that character. So I remember being so excited that like, I can't believe that they have the ambition to eventually get to that point.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I remember the years that led up to like regular movie fans that didn't know. They're like, man, all this guy does is sit in a chair. And you're just kind of like, wait.
Hold on a minute.
Hold my beer.
If we're moving out of the Marvel conversation, I would love to ask, still in the storytelling department.
Okay, here we go.
Because when you're doing
Jim Henson's storytelling television show.
When you're a writer and you're sort of describing this collaborative process, being in a writer's room and working with all these other people, what is it like when you join a group of people that are doing a similar thing but very different thing on like a filmed role-playing tabletop show, like a Critical Role or like something on Dropout? Because that's you yourself writing, but you're improvising, but you're also working with everybody else. Like, what is the main important thing for you when you sit down to do that? You're like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm gonna have a character. This is what matters to me.
Matt Mercer's in front of you. He's going to ask you to perform. How's that pressure cooker situation and what goes through your mind?
Well, Matt's like the nicest person on the planet. So it's like, so you're in front of like a teddy bear who's like, I'll take care of you. Don't worry. In fact, like, I think like a couple of times, like that's like a thing that like Mercer for sure does, where he's like, hey, we're here to have a good time and it's all going to work out great.
That's awesome. Because he can see everybody really nervous right before the cameras go. He's like, hey, okay, relax. We're having fun, guys.
And then, they're counting down. They're like 5, 4, and they go quiet 3. And then as they go quiet, he goes like, and if you screw this up, okay, so I'm just kidding.
That's good.
If you screw up my story, my lore.
He grabs you under the table and grabs your thigh.
Don't screw this up. And it's far too. So he really,
he's really got it.
Sometimes at a long table, it's those little T-Rex claws.
He's just got one for everybody under the table.
That's got more bite than you would think. That's wow.
That'd be so funny if you had a system like a police.
Out.
I mean, it's so funny to like be asked that from like the folks who also like you had like you guys have run hours upon like hundreds of hours of storytelling.
Yeah, but you're a guest today. We want to know about you.
Fuck us.
It's okay. So for me, I think that like the interesting answer for this is like every time I sit down, I'll go about like 10 minutes into what I think is a good idea and be like, what am I doing? And not like imposter syndrome stuff, because it's all like we're making stuff up. And again, we're all lucky to know so many people who are so supportive. And like I am oftentimes at like a Bria's table or something where it's like, these are people who can, like, they don't, I don't say this.
They don't need you there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Like I just saw Bria on Off-Broadway. I was like, you got this. Like I could just like sit here and then like roll a thing and be like, I missed. And you'll turn it into like Labyrinth.
A huge thing.
But I like filling characters that are bad at things and then leaning into that. Because you're like, listen, it's for the most part, for chunks at a time, we're here for 2 hours. So like the character's not going to like succeed at the thing for a good amount, like for a movie's length of time. So let's build these terrible little guys who are just not good.
That's a good idea.
That's
and
so
then
great.
struggle. And then every so often, there was like one that we were doing a Comic-Con show for Story Quest, who are just really rad folks. If you have a chance to check them out, check out all their stuff right now while I answer this question. And my character is a robot that has main character syndrome. So imagine if C-3PO was just like, they land with a message from Leia, and then the impact makes them go like, oh, she needs us. And that was my, and then they find Luke, and then Luke's like, I think that this is maybe for me. And then Ben Kenobi's like, yeah, it's not for you, the droids. And the droid's like, you're testing me.
I get it.
Now I want to see this.
And so I built this character, and at our live show for like an hour, he's being such a jerk. Like he's so rude. And then like people are just like, and they're like, I'm going through this thing, and like my family, my mom had, this stuff going on. And I'm realizing now that I can draw strength from her story. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, I don't care about your family. I have a prophecy. Like, what?
I am the chosen one.
Like, this is ancillary, if anything.
Did they reprogram you? What happened? How did they put up with that?
And that's the thing is like at a certain point where like I feel like I've pushed the bad playing far enough. I'm like, okay, let's find a way to now justify that.
Oh my God.
Okay. And that's where like the improv comes in. So the answer is like, but I regret it every time. I think it's so funny. And then it'll get to a point where I'm like, this guy's a jerk. Like, I'm being such a mean dude.
You know, the great thing about you, Omar, though, seriously, though, is that you have like such a sincere like charm that you can do that. You can be, you know, it's like when we watch a movie and like Josh Gad is playing a jerk. Like we can't help but like him and root for him. He's a charming guy, you know, or Paul Rudd. Like,
my God.
Like
he can do no wrong. A comparison.
No, bro. You're like a. Let me rephrase. Paul Rudd is like a white you. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. Not the other way around. He's like a white you.
And I've told him that.
To his face.
And he doesn't believe me.
Yeah. And he's like,
look at us.
You what are you doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing in my house? Get out of here. All right. Well, look, we can move on, but the thing is I have a fun questionnaire that I
Can I ask something before you ask that?
Go ahead.
As I grip your leg.
Please.
The thing that I've noticed from a lot of people who do RPGs, role-playing, improv.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're trying to help write a story, and not just the Marvel stuff you've done, but just in general, just even practicing for yourself, do you feel like having that sort of improvisational brain really helps you to write yourself out of situations sometimes, or just help you in writing in general?
Oh, yeah. That's such a good question. I think that the thing that I really have taken away from improv.
Yeah.
And you mean that with like a lowercase I, like all the stuff that we've gotten to do together and just like also watching incredible performers and storytellers, is that everyone, like your actions affect the environment. And so it's coming into something with like an idea of how it'll end. It's like you don't have control, but what you can do is listen and react to other characters. And I think that is like, so when it's like it's to the point where like if someone's like, hey, you're being a jerk, it's like that's the snap moment of the character being like, I'm so sorry. Like and then like here's like the lesson, and then you just like can push that into like the mechanics of, you know, a story, whether that's if we're talking about, you know, comic book stuff. It's like then the powers translate in that, you know, and Captain Marvel's like, I'm stronger because of this, I'm gonna punch ships out of the air because I realize you don't have power over me. And then you're
so
like,
great.
And now she can just like, you know, just like knock him out. Or like in D&D, it's like, and that's when you can start to go into moves. And also, here's the cheat. I'll say this, and then I guess I'm retired from it because I'm. This is like when Ryan Johnson was like, "Your bad guy can never have an iPhone." Do you remember that interview? And he's like, "I can never make mysteries anymore." I ruined it. It's that like, if you get to a place where you can get an emotional pivot point and your character has learned something by listening to other characters, your GM will kind of let you get away with anything because you need to make a big move. So it's the pacing of it's like the last like round of action, and then it's like your character's like, I just realized that I need to work together as a team. And it's not about me, and I'm not winning for valor.
The GM is just like,
my job is
yes. And then it's like, I rolled a hit.
Do whatever you want.
Emperor.
You hit. You hit.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
You won D&D. Good.
Don't roll anything.
So
you
funny.
won.
But then a home game is great when you do play that, and then your GM is like, you miss, and the character's like, I'm going to keep learning this lesson. I swear to you. I'm not giving up on myself.
Even through adversaries.
You missed again. Like, I rolled a 4. You missed again. I'm not giving up on myself. Adversity is going to make a diamond out of this piece of coal.
I like how you went Southern accent all of a sudden.
I'm sorry, is this the Joe Dirt role-playing game that I missed out on?
Joe Dirt RPG.
That's fun. Yeah, let's play that. No, I like what Omar said earlier about like, let's create a weird little dude when you do a game like that, or a show that's a game like that, because I think that's what makes Dungeons and Dragons work, and I think that's what made that D&D movie work.
Yes.
With Chris Pine.
That movie was fantastic.
That movie was so
It's
good.
full of little weirdos. Like you can't have super. If the movie was just full of that character Zenk, who was really, really like you know, accomplished, but like very competent one. Boring movie.
It's boring. Yeah, nobody wants to watch that.
The only way that character was not boring was, I was about to say unboring, was it when you put him in a room with a bunch of fuck ups that are constantly like, what about this? And he's just like, oh, like that's what made that character fun.
Yeah.
So, you just have to do little dudes. Yeah.
Because there's so many scenes I love, but I don't want to like ruin it in case anyone hasn't seen it. I highly recommend watching it.
That movie's been out for long enough.
Producer Mark's like, spoil it.
Spoiler.
No, spoil it. Go
Go
ahead.
watch the movie
I'll
first.
say the non-spoiler one and I'll keep it quick. But like the non-spoiler scene, and then I'll tell you the spoiler one. The non-spoiler scene for me, I'm just like, there's a scene where there's no nerdy mechanical thing. It's about a breakup that happened a while ago.
Oh God, so
Great
funny,
and
dude.
it's just like, here's why it didn't work.
It's so funny, and it's played so sincerely.
And it's just
And
like,
it's so funny.
yeah, I guess that makes sense. And you're like,
Yeah.
relationships are messy, man.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like,
Hey.
great scene.
Yeah.
And then like on a higher level, like that movie, like the climax of that is being like, all the magic in the world that can fight death isn't important. What's important is like the happiness of your child.
Damn,
Hector,
dude.
I'd say Hector's all misty-eyed right now.
Damn, dude.
Like it's just,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah, that movie
choice.
rules.
And it's like, oh, you thought magic would make it easy? You thought there's a cheat sheet to being a human?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
like it's tough, man. Like we're
Yeah.
all barely making it through.
Yeah, yeah.
I really
I
love the
needed
way.
that. I needed that right now.
Yeah,
Thank you.
right?
Thank you.
Surreal. It's on Netflix right now. Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm gonna go buy it on 4K.
Open a new
in
tab.
North America. I'm gonna go buy it on 4K. is what I'm
So
gonna
yeah,
do.
I have it on Blu-ray. I'm just saying for
Yeah.
people who hasn't seen it yet, go watch it on Netflix right now.
Yeah, it's a
All
good one.
right. Well, I was gonna say I've got a questionnaire. We've got a questionnaire,
Okay, here we
but
go.
you brought something too.
I
Do you want to do your
game.
thing?
Oh, yeah, that's
let's do
right.
your thing.
Do y'all
Let's do your
Yeah,
thing.
let's do your
Yeah?
thing.
What are
Yes.
we playing?
Okay.
What is
Is
this?
it? Are we rolling dice? I forgot my dice.
Give me no dice. I got five here.
Okay.
And I might need to look up the last one when we get to it. But
Questions?
so here it is. I was like,
scared.
since it's like, we're talking about TV,
Okay.
but also there's like, we don't want to spoil stuff for the folks at home.
Okay.
Why don't we talk about shows that came out a while ago?
Uh huh.
In fact,
Like
shows,
the Reforged. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe some shows that we maybe forgot about.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
So I'm calling this, it came from the 90s.
Oh, I'm probably
Okay.
gonna be real good at
Yeah,
this.
he's gonna be real good at this.
So what I'm going to do is I've got a couple shows here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I am going to first tell you the pilot title.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
you
I'll
have
tell
to
you, and
guess
I'll
the
tell you when
show?
it came out.
Okay.
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 First
We
and
have to-
foremost, I'm going to give you the title of the pilot.
Oh my God, I'm ready.
Then where the show takes place,
Uh-huh.
which sometimes might give it away a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, if I could find a promo tagline somewhere, what that
Ooh,
promo tagline
yeah,
was,
yeah.
and then if you still haven't gotten it, top 3 build characters.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia.
This
This is
fun.
fucking
I
amazing.
love this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
I'm
go.
ready.
Because I wanted to make it up because I was like,
I'm
I'm
so
You might have to be a
sorry.
permanent fourth member.
I'm so ready.
Producer Mark's got his buzzer ready.
Yeah.
There it
He's ready to
is.
play. All right, this is too
Number
tantalizing.
1.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to start a little soft.
Okay.
Okay.
Answer whenever you think you got
Sure.
it, all right? So this came out September 1993.
Okay.
Okay. The first episode is called Rock and Ride.
Okay.
That-
Third
that-
Rock from the Sun.
No.
Ooh.
Jim Henson's Dinosaurs.
No, good
Oh.
Okay.
guess. Okay. It took place in Chicago.
Oh no, it couldn't be Family Matters.
No.
Perfect Strangers.
No.
That's the '80s. That's '80s. I know.
And you're all gonna,
80s?
there's- and these are there's like a common sort of like cluster of these. So
Yeah,
once you
yeah.
get this
God.
first one, I think you'll start to narrow.
Okay,
down.
okay.
Okay.
Now I'm not proud of this. I didn't write this,
Uh-huh.
but the tagline that I could find, the only promo I could see was,
Oh my God.
"It's tail whipping time. Whipping is crossed out and it says stripping." Now, when you know what the show is, it does make more sense.
Home Improvement?
But it was
No, that's not.
It was weird
Tail
that
whipping time.
It's tail whipping
Wait,
time.
I'm
crossed
thinking
out.
sitcoms.
Tail
Are we
stripping
doing more
time.
than sitcoms?
It's more than sitcoms.
Tail whipping, tail stripping
Oh,
time.
I'm my brain's in sitcom world. 1993
I'm thinking
Tail
of-
Whipping Time.
Is it the Pamela Anderson animated movie Stripperella?
No, but
Animated
great
cartoon show?
guess.
Okay, that was like a Stan Lee production.
It's-
You're right.
and
Yeah,
this
it's not
was a
that.
show.
I think this was also a Stanley production, though. I might be wrong. I think
What?
that this was a Stanley production.
Uh,
And finally, the
okay.
characters are Throttle, Vinny, and Moto.
Biker Mice from Mars.
Yeah.
Dun-
Oh my
I would have never
How,
gotten
I
that.
fucking loved that show back in the day. I ride motorcycles because of Biker Mice from Mars. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I should have known.
I didn't know lore. That's
Should have
great.
known.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now
All
I know.
right,
Now I know.
okay,
Now I
okay.
know.
Okay,
Now
now
I
we're
know.
cooking.
I
Now
was
we're
thinking,
cooking.
you said Chicago, and that
Yeah.
put me
I
in
know.
like in
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, I was like Family
Sitcom.
Matters. I was
Yeah,
like, going
like
through all
all
of them in my
sitcom,
head.
like
Like
in
RoboCop?
live action sitcom.
No, that's Detroit. That's Detroit.
Terminator? No.
That was 87.
Yeah.
RoboCop
All
in
right.
Chicago would be great. Just
I
taking the
know, right?
brown line to work. Just like, I'm not a cop here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on
It's
here.
not
All
my
right.
jurisdiction.
Okay, I think I'm okay.
Okay, here.
Let's do this.
Primed up. Here we go.
All right.
Number 2. This came out September 1993.
Okay.
This is back in TV time. I don't know if I say September. They were
Okay.
all fall releases.
Yeah.
All right. So the first episode was called "The Past Master Always Rings Twice."
The past.
The past master always rings twice.
Mighty Max.
Close, but no.
Time travel show Mighty Max. Okay. The past
Past
master
master
always rings twice.
Couldn't believe this was the name of the
Interesting.
pilot for this show.
Okay.
Show I was obsessed with. Okay. It takes place in
1993.
Mega Cat City.
Oh my God, dude. SWAT cats.
That's correct.
Broadcats.
The
I knew
past
it.
master.
Yeah, good one, Hector. That's a good one.
The Radical
Wait,
Squad.
what was the
Colon,
tagline?
The Radical
Tell us the
Squadron.
tagline.
Yes. What was the tagline?
The thing is, I couldn't find. So this is just like sort of the name of the show as it was like kind of reference. So
The tagline was, "This pussy's extreme." This is so inappropriate. Why? Why would you say that? You can't say that. You can't. No, you can't. Standards and practices are like,
tagline.
they are cats. You are allowed to say that. And these like perverted animators are like, yeah, that's a good one.
I love it.
Terrible. The Radical Squadron.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3. Another
Okay.
personal favorite of mine. Okay. September 1994.
Okay.
The first episode was called The Tearing.
The Tearing.
The tearing, like tearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
Ooh.
Great guess. No.
Okay.
Great guess.
Okay. I'm gonna
Okay.
need a little bit more than
The
that.
location most of the show takes place in is a spot called Mainframe.
Oh, reboot. Yeah,
That's it.
baby.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We got
Reboot.
it. Very nice. Very nice.
That's right.
That show, I just want to say, was cool, but then the last season was the most epic shit I'd ever seen
I
in my
never
life.
stuck it all the way
because the
through.
last season was like
Yeah.
Enzo's
Ooh.
grown up. It was like a time jump.
Internet.
Oh, wow.
They were like
Internet
Bob, and the
happens.
internet was like frozen, stuck in the internet for years, and now Enzo's big and buff. It was
Now-
crazy, dude.
Watching that show when I was growing up, I was
Yeah.
like, this is storytelling at its peak. Like, this is amazing. Like, it blew my
Whoa.
mind. And then I went to comic book conventions and started buying comics,
Yeah.
not cable comics,
Yeah.
X-Men comics. And I went, oh, you did cable. Like, not to take credit from anyone, but I was
Right.
like, you did cable.
Yeah. Enzo?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it has
that's
an
cable.
eye that can do things and a little like gun that
I mean,
responds.
because X-Men was already killing it at that
Yep.
point
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So
But like, why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, I mean,
everything
why
should
not?
be cable.
yeah, absolutely.
More
Cable's pretty sick.
pouches.
Yeah, all the pouches.
More pouches. The only tagline I could find was for the card game, which was the mega hit of Saturday morning is now a mega hit card set.
Oh,
What about now on Pogs? Reboot.
Do you remember Reboot? It's back in
Slam
Pause form.
this.
Get your
Yeah.
reboot slammer.
I got 2 more. All right.
Okay, go for
I
it.
love this game.
Here we go. I don't know who's in the lead. We're all winning. All
Yeah.
right. September 1996.
Okay.
The pilot's called Yes, We Have No Bananas Part 1.
Is it Donkey Kong Country, the animated series?
So close.
Damn
What a
it.
good guess.
Damn it.
What a good guess.
Okay.
Can I guess again?
Yeah.
Bananas in pajamas.
No.
No,
Is
that
it-
would be-
is this Captain Simeon and the Space Monkeys?
Captain
Oh,
Sam.
shit. Oh, shit. What? I told you, I fucking love animation.
That's not real, bro. That's not real.
Love
That's not real.
animation.
That's not real. Augustine made that up and Omar's yes ending it.
No,
That's a
no,
made up
that's
title.
Captain Simeon, right?
And because the location I thought was going to give it away because
No.
it's their ship, the Primate Avenger.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I was
What?
like, that. Also for them, that should just be called the Avenger, right?
Yeah,
Like imagine if it was like the USS Human Ship. Like,
yeah.
The USS Human Enterprise.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Somebody should
Yeah.
reboot that. How was
That
Captain
one was
Simeon?
actually pretty
should.
fun. That one was
Bro.
actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
I did enjoy
Bro.
that one. I remember the animation on that one being particularly good for the Saturday morning like
Yeah.
cartoon space. It was good.
And the main villain was a half black hole who wanted to become a full
What?
entity.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
that
yeah,
back.
you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Mm-hmm.
Bring that
Are we
back.
gonna watch this
It
show?
was a
or-
fun show,
rad.
dude.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Wow.
I can't believe you don't remember that one.
Oh God, I remember the Professor Monkey for a Head from Earthworm Jim.
Okay,
I
yeah,
remember
yeah.
Dial M for Monkey from Dexter's Laboratory.
Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot remember Captain Simeon.
You don't. Okay,
That's
we're gonna have to
crazy.
show you a
That's crazy.
screenshot of that because that shit was right.
What's that? If I saw
Yeah.
it, okay,
You
okay,
probably
cool.
remember
okay,
it.
okay,
Yeah,
cool,
it had a
cool.
very
All right,
unique
thanks.
style,
Okay.
almost like the Mighty Ducks animated show.
Yeah.
I remember
Kind of
that.
like
Yeah.
along the
Really?
same vein. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So it's a little Disney
A
afternoon.
little bit. It felt a little bit Disney-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was non-Disney characters.
I'm gonna be obsessed with this show now. I am gonna watch it. We should watch it for our YouTube channel. People be like, "Why the fuck are they watching it? What is this shit?"
And it's,
It's
also
like imagine 3 of our heads like Captain Simeon. Whoa! Episode 1 reaction. Whoa!
5 million views. Oh my God. Released 7 minutes ago.
Are these guys reacting to a fake?
That would
This
be
is a psyop.
incredible.
It's a
This show
psyop
never
animated.
existed,
Yeah.
right?
Honestly,
Guys.
maybe we do need to do some Saturday morning.
That's
That'd be
fine.
rad. That'd
Our
be rad.
reaction block.
Oh.
Yep,
Yeah.
that'd be great. All right,
All
is this our last
Last
one?
one.
I'm
Last
gonna
one.
shine here.
Okay. This one, I was rushing. It started to rain, and I didn't
Okay.
want the page to get
Okay.
wet. So I might, if we start to get into it, I might
Might
have to
be a
look
little
it up.
smeary.
Okay, okay.
But this is September 1995.
Okay, for
Smack dab in the middle of the 90s. All right?
Mhm.
The pilot was called Load of Bees.
Wait, spell that?
LOAD.
Load
O apostrophe B.
Load OBs.
Load
Okay.
OB.
Load OBs.
Oh my God.
Load OBs.
Is this Eek the cat?
It's a very good guess.
Damn.
Very good guess. Now the location would give it away, so I can't say that.
Okay.
Oh, Tasmania?
No, good guess.
No.
Load of bees.
Load OBs.
The tagline for this, and I found a promo.
Wait, before you say
Okay.
that, can I say Attack of the Killer Tomatoes?
Great guess.
Oh,
no,
no.
great guess.
Okay.
You're in the realm
Yeah,
of this
yeah.
kind
Producer
of like.
Mark, do you have a guess? Producer Mark, do you have a guess?
I just want Exo Squad to be one of
Oh, sorry. Okay. Or probably not be this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? Let's just say it is. Why not? Let's get Mark one.
Point. What's the tagline?
The tagline was the world's first Tex-Mex cartoon.
Oh, it's the cowboy, cowboy rancher,
Cowboys of Moo
guys.
Mesa?
Yeah, Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Great guess. It's
No,
not.
Tex-Mex?
there was other cowboy
Hang on.
cartoons.
Someone else had the audacity?
And it was
on.
the world's first. So the world's first
Tex-Mex cartoon? Was this like a George Lopez
Christ.
animated? Remember when like Louis Anderson had a show and like Damon Wayans had a show?
Yeah.
Like, is this? Hang on.
Bobby's World was popular.
Yeah, Speedy
Yeah.
Gonzalez didn't have an animated show in the 90s, right?
I do remember other animated
Tex-Mex?
cowboys, but I feel like they were later. Like there was a cowboy with like a robot leg or like a robot arm or something like
Do you
that.
guys remember all this?
I know, man. You were busy having a social life.
Yeah,
I said,
you were busy.
I guess.
You were busy with the ladies. Adam. I was stuck in front of my TV, like,
man.
Wow, Ford
okay.
built that
Wait,
thing for Tony
is there-
Stark.
One
Tex-Mex
more-
doesn't have to be cowboy specifically.
I
It
know,
just
I
means
know.
like Texan, Mexican
Yes.
people.
Now, what I will say is,
yeah.
if
One more
you
clue.
want a little sort of like this is a hint.
Yeah.
The pilot
Yeah.
title would put you in the realm of thinking about if you were to like try to imagine this world.
Load OBs.
And now,
Oh, does he know that?
They probably looked it up.
He looked it up.
Oh.
Oh my God.
See, I like this kind of stuff though.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is fascinating. Put you in the realm of what show it is. If you think about the title of the
Load
episode,
of
Load of
Bees.
Bees. The next one was probably Load of something. Load of something. Oh God. 1995.
yeah.
Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Was it a cable animated show or was it one of like the main networks
No, I think it was
animated
a Saturday
show?
morning show. I
So,
think
so
I
it was
saw it
on
Saturday morning
ABC
show.
Yeah.
or Fox or
1995.
WB.
I think
Okay.
it was Fox. You want me?
CBS.
Oh, a
Fox,
CBS
dude.
show.
CBS.
I didn't watch anything on
I
CBS.
was like, they're Saturday morning cartoons. I didn't even know that.
Dude.
Because I know
they did.
CBS put out
CBS had
they had like Dumb and Dumber. They had The Mask.
Yes.
Like Jim
Yes.
Carrey had
Okay,
like some
okay.
animated shows.
Okay. This isn't Beetlejuice.
Hearts, no.
Yeah,
Yes,
give a vague hint.
Big hint.
the producer.
Yeah.
Used a lot of Nickelodeon.
Yep. It was Class B Suko.
The producer did Class B Suko.
Mark and Bob
Class B
Mothersbaugh
Chuko.
also were composers.
Oh my God. Hang on. It's not, it was on CBS, so it wasn't like Rocket Power on Nickelodeon.
No.
No.
And it wasn't Real Monsters on
But
Nickelodeon.
looks similar to both shows.
Got it.
Oh, then
Oh
I'm
my
drawing a
God.
blank completely.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's not As Told by Ginger. That was also,
No, but no.
dude, this must have lasted for one season, 13 episodes.
It's not popular, is it?
Like one season. Yeah. Hang on. Tex-Mex. Oh my God. Is it something Chihuahua? Is it something?
No, but you're kind of within some general realm of something.
Yeah.
Something
Think of
Chihuahua.
something almost offensive.
Yeah, that's
Where it's like-
and maybe even dip a toe into it.
It was probably called like Mexican Kids with a Z or something. Like you're like, what?
so
Mexicans.
close.
Yeah, this Saturday morning on CBS. It's I was gonna say something real offensive. No, I'm not gonna say that. It's like
Los
it's like,
Niños Zapatistas.
Yeah.
You're like, this got greenlit? I don't.
Remember
okay.
the Alamo?
is it like the Loco family
Yeah.
or something? Like
I think
God.
I'm stumped.
you have to tell us.
100%.
You got to tell us.
Yeah.
What's it called? What's
Yeah.
it
The
called?
show Santa Baguito.
Santa
Oh,
Baguito.
shit.
Santa Baguito.
Mhm. I
It's a
remember
Wild
that
West
show.
town.
Wow.
They're all
Wow.
bugs.
Oh,
Yes, I remember that show now.
like Bug Cowboys.
That one was
Yep.
way back. You just
Damn.
unlocked like
Whoa.
a ton of memories because
my
I haven't
God.
I haven't thought about that show since I was a kid.
Well done, dude.
Thank you.
You
You
said some of these were going to be maybe cartoons we forgot, and you went through the first couple. I was like,
Yeah.
Get a load of this guy.
Forgot about all these.
I remember
I'm
each
just
one of
glad
these.
I pulled out Captain Simeon. That one was like
off
amazing.
the bat.
oh
You were
yeah,
like,
just straight up off the bat.
Amazing.
As soon as he said
That's
bananas, I
crazy.
was like
Yeah.
95. Yeah, that's Captain Simeon. There was no
Damn.
other ape stuff.
Bold that they were like part one.
Yeah.
Like I love too that they're like, hey, you're in. Like if
Every
you're in for
pilot,
Space
just
Monkeys, you're
wait till you get to
we
part
got
2.
you.
Damn.
I learned that I didn't have a childhood or I have the worst memory of anyone.
All right. I think now we got about 12 minutes left on the
Okay,
clock.
here we go.
Here's what I want to do. Let's try to do these rapid fire in questionnaire form.
These are for you though.
If
These are for you,
just you.
yeah.
Okay.
But if you feel like you need to pause and like elaborate on any of them, go for it.
Okay.
But just know there's maybe like 20,
47.
80, there's like 20, 25
We're
We're
questions.
gonna blast through, and also if
Okay.
I don't have one off the top of my head,
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
can
gonna
just
Aubrey
go-
Plaza and just say something.
Yeah, exactly.
Go for it.
Exactly. All right. Adam, you want to
Sure.
kick us off?
No pressure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Favorite superhero?
Of all time,
Yes.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
Really?
More
Excellent.
specifically, do you have a favorite Green Lantern?
Yeah, Kyle Rayner.
Hey, okay.
okay.
All right.
That's the
That's
guy
what's
right there.
up.
Go,
Okay,
Adam.
okay.
We'll go on to other ones. We'll explain other stuff after, but go
That's
for it.
awesome.
Quick
Yeah,
fire.
keep
Go,
going,
go,
Adam.
go.
Oh, the
You,
next
you
one?
do them
Yeah.
all. You do them all. You're right there. Right there.
Okay.
You're right there.
Well, you said
Yes.
Green Lantern, so
Okay.
Marvel.
Favorite Marvel?
Oh,
Marvel.
Jamie Madrox's Multiple Man.
Damn.
Okay, that was fast.
You must have loved X-Men: The Last Stand.
Oh my god, Eric Dane just being
Yeah.
like, you thought there were many of us? It turns out there was multiple. That's it. Thank you. That's a wrap on Eric Dane. Here's
your check.
Eric Dane. Thank
Cut
you.
the check.
Nice.
Favorite supervillain?
Ooh,
DC.
Poverty.
Poverty?
Poverty. Like, no, just like the idea of it. I'm answering this quick.
I was
fight it.
like,
fight
the
it.
Rolodex
Like,
was
let's-
going.
I'm like, is this
solve
like?
it. Fix it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
fair.
Next question.
Otherwise,
Great.
Magneto.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Favorite Ninja Turtle?
Donatello.
Nice. Okay, I'm glad
Favorite-
you didn't say Raph. We're gonna have to fight.
Favorite Transformer?
Oh, Jazz.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yes.
Favorite G.I. Joe?
Mm.
Oh, I don't remember them well. So G.I. Joe. Oh no, let's have some fun with this. Arm. The arm.
The arm?
The arm. Do you remember?
The arm? The arm?
What are you talking about?
I'm making one up right now.
Oh,
Having
okay,
fun.
got it.
I was like, what do you mean the arm?
It's like, you're the army, I'm the arm.
Yeah.
Not special, no special arm, just I'm the arm.
That guy died on the first mission.
He
out.
did. He did. Yeah.
He didn't make it up
Yeah.
the plane.
He was the morph of G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
He just died 5 minutes into the first episode.
Roadblock was like, why did we?
what was the point?
Why did we
Why?
bring him?
Yeah, Snake
he
Eyes
did
was like,
nothing.
who's this guy?
Yeah, he had no training, and I don't normally talk, but who's this guy?
Exactly.
We lost the arm.
We lost
you weren't
the
even on a
arm.
mission. Oh, we're well aware.
Favorite Power Ranger?
Oh, Tommy.
Nice.
A
Yeah.
specific era?
Do you have any other
Tommy?
favorite eras?
No, Tommy appearing. My answer for this is like Tommy appearing. Yeah, 100%. Just being like, we lost him, and in the movie, and then he was just like, by the way, I'm back, and we have all more powers than you could ever
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
Huge. Although I will say, I did like I loved frogs growing up. I still do. So actually, a frog ranger was
Yeah.
sick.
Oh yeah, when they were
But
like the
I'm
animal.
a frog.
Yeah.
What's wrong, Adam? I'm a frog.
Yeah, I'm a frog. I changed it actually. Let's go full frog.
And then she
Yeah,
tries to
full
make him
frog.
feel better
Great.
and then hugs him into her breast.
Oh, Dulcia.
Doesn't change the fact that I'm a frog. Frog was sick, a giant jumping robot.
It was pretty cool. Favorite Star Wars character?
Oh, what's his name? Zuvio? Okay, Colonel Zuvio. Who's the one that was cut from
Oh God,
Constable Zuvio?
Constable Zuvio from
Oh,
Force Awakens,
yeah.
who got
Oh
an
my
action figure, but he
God.
was cut.
That's hilarious.
He's in a comic. He was in a comic
Yeah,
at
I
some
see.
point.
It was a thing where I was standing in a Target and I was like, I know that I should buy this action figure because they made him, but I didn't have enough money.
Oh no.
And I was just like, will I regret this? And I don't, because I would have like not eaten, but like, man, I wish I had enough money to buy some action figures. That's how broke I have been up until like a month ago. Just to be clear, like
Damn.
This was
genuinely.
2015.
Yeah.
This is when that movie came
And I
out.
tell my parents, and they're just like, "Oh, you were deciding between food and toys? Like, stop! Like, that's not."
you don't know my life.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing.
Following my dreams.
Favorite Star Trek character?
Oh, Q.
Q?
I,
Okay.
like,
I hate that fool, dude. I hate him so much. Straight up.
We're gonna have you on some reactions when Q
Yeah,
comes
for
on.
sure.
It's just as any. I mean, I love
Yeah.
Janeway. I grew up on Voyager.
Great
I
captain.
understand
Great
that
captain.
some people feel like that's like a hot take, but I love Janeway. But Q is just like this guy's like, I'm a god. And then it's like, hey, man, maybe I'm mortal. And like those episodes, I'm like, great. What a guy. What a guy.
Q sucks. Q's the worst.
Not into it. Favorite Middle Earth character?
Ooh, I'm going to say, I mean, I love Sam.
Yeah.
I want to say something big, but I'm like, that's the heart of Lord of the Rings.
No,
man.
Sam is the biggest one. What do you mean? He's
Omar's
the
got
heart and soul of Middle Earth.
Omar's got to figure it out, man.
Folks who have never experienced war and then are teaching all of people around them of like, this is what we protect. Like, this is what we fight to protect.
Yeah. Sam is that deep, dude. Sam is that guy.
What's this? Knowledge that he just dropped. That's crazy.
And also
10 pounds of knowledge.
Middle Earth's original nerd, because he's like, listen, I guess I can't carry that ring, but I can carry you. I broke the rules.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
true.
like, well, if you can't touch Krypton, but I can touch Krypton and do this.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
in a lead thing.
Yeah. Somebody should have just lifted Thor and then he like put the Mjolnir around him. Like, I got you. Come on.
Don't worry about it.
That's great.
What kind of bender would you be in the Avatar verse?
Oh my God. I've thought about this quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which, okay, it's not who I want to be, it's who I would be. Probably a firebender.
What?
Probably a firebender.
okay.
Saucy.
Not because I like imperialism, I want to be clear.
Right.
But I think that
bending
it's...
fire's
You would just be
cool.
born in the Fire Nation and raised. Yeah. Like,
I think it's a thing where it's just like, if what's the thing that speaks to you? And I think it's like the thing I've worked on most of my life has been like, I'm quick to
Interesting.
anger. And it's like, like finding a way to control that and turning that into something that's nourishing.
Yeah.
And those episodes when like, hey man, fire grows plants.
Yeah.
It doesn't just burn things.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
like weeping.
It
Lest
is.
we forget the best character in the entire Avatar verse, Uncle Iroh.
Iroh.
Oh,
He is a
100%.
firebender.
He is
Like,
the firebender.
come
dude.
on, dude.
Yeah, 100%. But also, which one would you want? Like you said, the
Yeah.
one that you feel like you are, but what do you want to be? What do you strive to be?
Oh, probably waterbender.
Yeah, water's
Okay.
sick.
Because it's
Okay.
like, water's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's cool. Unlike Earth and Fire and Air. All right, next question. Go. Next.
Favorite Looney Tune?
Oh, Yosemite Sam. What a
I
concept.
fucking love you.
What a
so good.
concept.
I love you.
That man
was
can't
chaotic.
exist in our world.
That was the character you were doing earlier. You're like, I'm gonna learn.
He's like,
Darn it.
in his world, he's the least interesting person, right? There's a
Yeah.
talking bunny, and he's like, and who are you? I've got 2 guns. Do you have anything else?
And a big mustache.
Yeah.
These are all man things. Like, you know, I'm like,
That's so funny.
do you have a power?
Oh my God.
I can shoot him. Okay,
Oh
thank
my
you.
God.
Okay, get out of here, Yosemite
Favorite
Sam.
Hanna-Barbera character?
Oh my God. This is tough. There's so many. I'm gonna say Melanie from Josie and Pussycats. Mel.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Right?
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
Is that
Mel,
the
yeah.
drummer? Was Mel the drummer, or was Mel the
Mel's the
side,
bassist.
the bassist?
Bassist.
Cool.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think
Am I
it was-
wrong?
in the live action movie was Rosario Dawson?
Is that Val? I might be
I
getting
can't
this wrong.
remember.
Let me
I
do
can't
some
remember.
fact
We'll
checking.
It's been
look.
too many years.
Let me do
We'll
some
look.
fact
We'll look.
checking here.
Okay. But one of the
Continue,
continue.
One of
Josie and the
yeah,
Pussycats.
because if I could choose all 3, but yeah.
They're great.
Great. They're great. It's a mystery solving band. Like they're
Yeah,
amazing.
right?
Yeah.
What else do you want?
So was Jabberjaw, but that got weird. So let's stick with Josie and the Pussycats.
Jabberjaw brought too much attention to himself.
Yeah,
You're
he was a
already big
genetically
shark.
engineered shark that could talk. Like
Yeah.
Curly from the Three Stooges.
He needs
No,
to
thank
chill.
you.
Yeah.
He needs to chill out, dude.
Favorite Mickey and Friends character?
Favorite Mickey and Friends character,
Mm-hmm.
Donald Duck.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Carrying a lot of weight.
Ooh.
That's a good
Donald,
one. That's a good
he's-
one.
I feel like
Yosemite
he's
Sam.
so underrated as like a favorite
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
I think
I
so
agree.
too. Yeah,
He's
yeah,
so
yeah.
good.
He's experienced a lot of loss in his life and then
Yeah.
raises 3 kids.
Raises his kids out of the goodness of his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then gives them to Scrooge. But like,
Yeah. Pawns him off.
Out of the goodness of his heart.
Favorite dinosaur?
in general,
Yes.
I always mispronounce it, but what's it like the Dilophosaur, the spinning
Oh
one
my
from
gosh.
Jurassic
Ooh,
Park.
the one from Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, very
Because
cool.
everyone's like raptors, did you know they have feathers? And you bring up the Dilophosaur, the spinning dinosaur. No one has a fun fact. They're like, that dude kicks ass.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
May or may not have had this. Who cares? Doesn't
Who
matter.
cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's
Favorite
rad.
kaiju?
Oh, easily Mothra.
Yeah.
A giant moth.
Yeah, she's the best.
Great. Like a giant moth that's like
crazy.
a problem. Yeah. Like that's amazing.
And she's usually the hero. She's
Yeah.
usually the
Yeah.
person who the character that comes in and like saves the day.
She puts people to sleep, doesn't she?
Yeah,
She's
she
like
can.
magical fairy dust.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I can I don't know what I would do. Like dinosaurs
No.
I get.
Yeah.
And multiple heads, sure. But if I saw a giant moth flying down like Vine,
Yeah.
I would be like,
We're dead. I'm dead.
yeah, what do
I mean, you'd fall asleep right away.
yeah.
I'm cooked.
Yeah.
I'm done. It's over.
You'd probably have the best nap of your life.
Honestly,
Forever.
Yeah.
another point for Mothra. Like amazing.
Favorite Pokemon?
Cubone. Hands down. I gotta keep one of my
too.
dogs. Yeah.
Sad. Too sad.
He's sad.
Too sad. That's
Yeah.
great.
Hell yeah. I have a little Cubone plushie next to my bed.
Hell
Are you
yeah.
serious?
Yeah, and he's got a little tear. He's asleep and he's got a little tear coming down his face.
Dude, that's so sad.
I'll send you a picture. It's so
I
sad.
love that. A real quick Pokemon hot take. Let Pikachu talk. I know in one of the
Ooh,
movies
like
Pikachu talk.
full-blown-
If Pikachu's out
Like
wandering
Ryan
around,
Reynolds? No way. Boo.
Danny DeVito's voice.
Okay, hang on. Okay.
Which direction?
Now I feel like Danny DeVito in that meme, like, I get it now. Now that's something. He's like,
Yeah.
Ash!
I'm hungry.
Use me!
Me.
Yeah, that'd be
Pikachu,
great.
you're going a little Gilbert Godfrey for being honest.
sorry.
I know.
Favorite video game?
Oh my god, Harvest Moon 64.
Damn.
Ooh,
Yeah.
classic.
In your back pocket.
Favorite tabletop game?
That would probably be one I invented. What a silly answer. I made a board game when I was a kid
Heck
based
yeah.
off of a book I cannot remember. And I made a bunch of mechanics. It was like a house. It was like a Zathura book.
Oh,
And then so I
yeah,
made
yeah.
a board game and then forced my family to play it. And my parents were
Wow.
like, what is wrong with you? Like, this
Why do you
wasn't
hate us?
like there wasn't like I don't even know if we had the internet back then. And this was 1974 when I was a little The only game we had was like a hoop and a stick. Anyway, my parents were like,
and this game was Monopoly. He
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I know, right?
In
Yeah.
1904.
and you're all playing it wrong.
Yeah.
You didn't know.
Favorite anime?
Cowboy Bebop. Hands down.
Oh,
Solid
that's a good
answer.
one. That's a
Adam
good
loves
one.
that one.
Yeah. Favorite horror movie?
I just watched a ton of schlock films lately, so I'm just like, these are so great. But I think probably the most influential one for me, I know some people say it wouldn't count, but too bad I'm counting it, Army of Darkness.
Ooh,
that's a
that
great
counts.
one.
Army of
That
Darkness.
totally
And if you
counts.
want to say Evil Dead 2, then great.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
obviously,
fine.
out of good faith, can't recommend Evil Dead 1. It's tough when you're
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say the Army of Darkness, hands down, great, just amazing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really
Fun.
good.
Good call.
Favorite Disney movie?
Aladdin.
Yep.
Ooh, okay.
No, Father, it's the law that's wrong. Jasmine, you're real wherever you are. Not gone and not
Favorite
forgotten.
Pixar movie?
Brave.
Whoa,
I've never seen
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Have you seen
Well,
Brave?
you okay? Are you okay?
Hey, no judgment. Have you seen Coco?
Yeah, I see Coco. I love Coco.
Brave's cool.
I love Coco.
Brave's cool.
It's okay, Hector. We can
Wow.
all like different things.
Yes, we can.
I
Have you seen it in 3D yet?
Brave?
Yeah.
No.
You want to?
I think
Yeah.
I have.
Yes.
it.
I have it in
Yeah.
3D as well.
Yeah, you have
Oh,
it
I would
on
love that.
Yeah, it's good.
Done.
I would love that. I saw it in a tiny theater on the east side, and there were two people who were super stoned. And for the first hour, I was like, dude, this is really annoying. And then at a certain point, I was like, no, this is how movies were supposed to be watched. Just commenting on the entire thing, like, it's sad that she can't talk to her mom.
Yeah.
Great. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Wait, her mom's a bear? Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, final question.
Ooh.
Who do you think is an underrated hero character?
Who do I think is an underrated hero character?
Maybe a character that is like significant to you.
Yeah.
You know, I was gonna say I know that you grew up watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I don't think Buffy's underrated. I feel like a lot of people put respect on her name.
Okay.
So if you can think of maybe another
I got
example, okay, go.
From, I want to say it's episode 3 of season 1 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
I believe it's called. I believe it's the Witch. I might be wrong because I think it's Welcome to the Hellmouth, the Harvest, the Witch. I might be off by one.
Okay.
It's about sorry to spoil it. I'll make it quick, but it's about a cheerleader who really wants to be on the cheerleading team so badly and be accepted. And things are going weird, and there's magic stuff going on, and they find out that the student is actually in the mom's body, and the mom is in the student's body.
Oh,
She wanted to
Friday.
relive her like childhood.
Whoa.
And the episode ends with Buffy going to her mother, Joyce Summers, and asking, you know, if you could go back and be a teenager, would you? And Joyce goes, be 16 again? No. And that moment is burned in my brain
Wow.
as a sort of like, oh no, we live the lives we live.
Yeah.
And it was just a strength that I don't think would get celebrated in anything, but it's just Joyce's ability to be like, no, I'm going through. She's a divorced single mom raising her kid on a hellmouth, and she's like,
Living.
we're doing it. Like,
Yeah,
these
yeah.
are the cards, and I'm
This
dealing.
is it.
Her kid's
Yeah.
a slayer, a
Yeah.
vampire slayer.
Yeah.
Vampire Slayer. She's dating a 400-year-old, and she's going to say something about it, and he's going to go have a spin-off show.
Good. So your answer
Joyce
is
Summers.
Buffy's mom, Joyce.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Interesting.
Really great.
And also when I get scam calls and people are just like, how's your day going? And I know it's a scam call. I pretend to be Joyce and I go, I don't know. Well, my daughter
Yeah.
is going through high school.
My 400-year-old boyfriend is,
and I
kind of acting up.
And I just wait until they hang up. I'm going to go through every season in order until about
And then
season
this
5.
happens. Yeah.
Oh my God, amazing.
That's hilarious.
Amazing. Well, Omar, thank you so much for coming to hang
I
out
hope
with
you
us.
had a blast.
Yeah.
This is a dream come true. This is amazing.
Weird.
This is so.
You know us though.
Yeah, but I haven't been on the show.
That's true.
That's
That's
true.
true.
Yeah, this is the best. This is what we all grew up in, like the 90s.
That's what it's
This is
all about.
all you want to do is sit around talking about comic books and Pokemon.
Yeah,
That's right.
I mean, that's the whole
That's very
reason why
true.
we started doing this. We would go to lunch, talk about this shit, and then we were
Yeah.
like, why don't we just put it on
Put it
YouTube?
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Might as well.
And we also noticed that one of our other friends who would sit with us was just laughing the entire time.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, he's laughing.
We got at least one
got
subscriber.
something going on.
subscriber.
Something, yeah.
One subscriber.
And like
We got
on a
something
deeper
here.
emotional level, this was like before this stuff, we could do this on the internet.
Yeah.
There were people who felt self-conscious about being an adult, being passionate about things. This is
Oh,
true.
100%.
Maybe some of you did not live
Yep.
in this reality, this timeline.
Yep.
But there were people who had to hide that they were comic book nerds, that they were anime nerds. That they
Omar,
loved the
we've
things they
had
loved.
comments that have made fun of our beautiful candles.
Yeah. Okay. That's where we're at.
well-lit candle.
We're grown men with candles. Grow up,
People are
dude.
mad about it. Okay.
She came down in a bubble, Doug. Grow up.
Grow up, Tom.
I'm talking to you, man. Grow up.
No, but you're right. I never thought I'd be doing anything like
Yeah.
this. And then look at us. Look at us now.
Look at us.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's important.
Just like the white Omar Najam, Paul
Yeah.
Rudd would say,
Yeah.
look at us. Look at us now.
Look at us
Look
now.
at us
Look at who the song. We're gonna have to have you back.
Yeah.
Hopefully after Daredevil is wrapped for the season, you can come back. You can talk about it if you want, and then talk about whatever else you want. But you did the
Beautiful.
question. We're gonna have to come up with more. You're gonna have to bring another game.
That was
bring
so
it up.
fun.
We'll
That was
continue
so
that
fun.
game.
Do
That
more
was fun.
obscure TV
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Okay.
I
The
love
whole
digging
hour.
in the back of my brain, dude.
Like, put back and it's just state capital.
Little Augustine and I
it's
going,
not-
where the fuck is that answer? I know it's in there somewhere.
People are going to be clicking for like, finally, we get to talk about Daredevil Born Again. And we're like, Extreme Dinosaurs, Extreme Dinosaurs, the whole episode. It's just like the spin-off of Street Sharks, Extreme Dinosaurs.
So funny. But thank you so much for coming on. Definitely love
Thank
to have you
you.
back. Even if it's not about Daredevil, just come back next week if you want. I don't
Yeah,
care. Whatever you want. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out everything else that we're watching on the channel, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Heroes Reforged is gonna react. Heroes Reforged is gonna review. Heroes Reforged is gonna discuss. That's why we are watching.